Hello friends, Jennifer Pearson here with something completely different. Usually on my channel I am talking about tarot and oracle cards and doing readings of various kinds. Today I'm here to talk to you about the carrot cancer cure. Carrots, yes, carrots are not the answer for everyone, I'm sure, but they are worth giving a try. I do not have cancer, thankfully, and I don't know anybody directly who has had experience, human beings who've had experience with the carrot cancer cure. If you're on Facebook, you can look it up. There is a page for the carrot cancer cure. I found out about it, I don't know, it's probably about 3 years ago now, when a friend was going through chemo and she was having nausea problems, and I decided to go to kind of an out-of-the-way health food store that I knew about to see if that person had any suggestions for her. And when she heard what I was wanting help with, she said, well, I know somebody who cured his cancer with carrots, organic carrots. And I can't remember how much she said per day, but it was a pretty outrageous amount. And it's like, well, you know, it's one of those things. It just sounds like a stretch, you know? And are you going to really eat a bunch of carrots every day thinking it's going to cure your cancer? You know, because it just... Cancer is such a big thing, you don't think that something that you buy at the grocery store could possibly have any real impact, especially when you have a serious issue going on. Now, I did mention it to my friend, but I don't blame her. She's already doing chemo. She did have a pretty serious issue. She was nauseated. She didn't have probably the appetite to eat as many carrots as were required. However, what I do have experience with, so she didn't try it, and it went under my radar. I didn't hear anything else about it. But my dog has cancer, and she's had cancer now for a year. First, it's cancer of the mouth. It first was showing up on her gums, in the front on her lower gums. And last year, about this time, well, earlier than this, I think, this being October 2016, I had my vet actually surgically remove the cancerous tissue that was there and obvious, and that worked really well. Actually, I was quite but she did have, people who do surgery, they always want to think, oh, it's no big deal, minimum impact, but it was a pretty difficult thing for my dog to go through and recover from, and I wasn't anxious to put her through it again. So I was really happy with the results, however, and it took a while for the cancer to reappear. I thought it would reappear quickly because it was biopsied, and it is an aggressive form of cancer that often metastasizes. And so my feeling was, and the vet kind of led me in this direction too, that this buys her time. The cancer will eventually metastasize, and then eventually we'll be putting her down because of that. In the springtime, I was feeling like this was around March, not doing well, having additional issues, and I was feeling like this might be it. It might have metastasized. I went to the vet. I didn't get the vet, my normal vet, the established vet there. I got a new partner of his, and that person said, you know what, I don't think it's anywhere near time to put her down. We can't know if it has metastasized because there's frequently no particular, it doesn't metastasize as a tumor necessarily. So he gave me some pain medication, and I know that she does have arthritis, so that might have been part of it, and metoclopramide, which is an antibiotic, but I'm not sure exactly why he gave her that. But we've stayed on that. And then in the summertime, it would have been August, I believe. Was it in August that I finally took her in? She had developed a knot on her chin, and I thought, I need to have this checked out. Is it an abscess from a tooth that's infected? Is it the cancer coming back? So I took her in, and my established doctor said, he said, I'm 100% sure this is the cancer coming back. And what he wanted to do was to take off her jaw, her bottom jaw, the bone, to cut the bone and remove it. And he was saying, that he knows another dog he had just done that for was doing really well. But my heart really sank because this is an old dog. Jessie is an old dog. I couldn't see putting her through that kind of radical surgery. It's going to be painful, awful. I have 2 other dogs in the house, one of which is a very rambunctious younger dog, a terrier. And I thought, you know what, I can't do it. And so I was left with, just letting it take its course, finding alternative things to do. In the spring, I had seen that it was coming back on her interior, and didn't want to do surgery again. And it wasn't suggested to me to do surgery again at that time. But this time around, as I was watching it progress, because it had become aggressive, it was progressing. It was about its business. It was doing what it came into the body to do. And I just remembered, I guess I was looking up some alternative things on the internet, and I just remembered the carrot cancer cure from those years ago in the health food store. And I thought, you know what, why not try it? I don't have a ton of money. I can't, there's just a lot I can't do. Carrots, I think I can do. Now that I'm having to feed her a lot, maybe I'm starting to question that a little bit. But anyway, so I started to feed her carrots at a rate of 1 pound a day. And I did see progress. It had, just in a very brief couple of weeks, had started to spread from just a spot here, all along her jaw, under here. And that went back to being softer. And it had started to spread down here, and that receded back up. And what did I do? There must have been something else. I don't remember what I did, but then, or if there was nothing that I did, and it just blew up on me. She had had cancer all the way back to the base of her tongue. And it got so that there was a big ball on one side of her face, and her tongue could really only come out on the other side. And that was when I was feeding very little food. I should have taken notes. Very little kibble. I normally feed dry kibble, so I was doing very little of that, and then the carrots. But I noticed that at some point I looked in there, because she seemed to be, so it blew up, and I'm thinking, all right, again, it's like, it's not mattering, it's, we're done for. And then it actually turned she started to do a little bit better, and I checked it out one day. She doesn't like to have her mouth messed with, so it's a challenge to get in there and really take a look at it. And part of it had turned black. Well, that's necrosis. That's the death of it, and it had shrunk. And I thought, wow, well, cool, because it was quite large and bulgy. I think I was on the verge of taking her in to see if she maybe had a salivary gland infection or something, but no. I looked it up online. That's not what it was. It was the cancer, and so it turned black and it shrank. And over the course of these weeks, of like 2 or 3 weeks of having her on the carrots, she was really dropping weight. She was feeling really good. So I'll tell you this: if you just want to give your animals some carrots, ground carrots, in their food, you might see a great health benefit as a result. So she was feeling really good, but she was losing too much weight. So I had taken her. I think I'd taken her off entirely. That's what I had done. I took her entirely off of the kibble and was only feeding her the carrots and wet dog food. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to have to put her back on the kibble just in order to give her to put some weight on her, some carbohydrates there. Now, I had read that cancer cells grow with carbohydrates. It feeds them somehow or other. And for some reason, I wasn't believing that, but now I do. Because when I put her back on the kibble, this area, which this had softened back up, it started to grow, and I had gotten so I could see her bottom teeth. Previous to that, the growth had come up so I couldn't see her bottom teeth. And so when I put her back, and I have a sense of humor about this just because it just seems so crazy, and because I've kind of been waiting for a year for my poor dog to die, and she's not dying. She's not going to do it, and yay, Jessie. So we're both on board fighting it at this point. And so it had blown up, and then when I put her on the carrots, it had reduced down, and that was one of the yay moments. And so it's we're winning battles, but we haven't won the war yet, and I haven't figured out I don't know if we can win the war because of how advanced it was. And again, it's really aggressive. I mean, a matter of days. I put her on that kibble again, and and so it was very noticeable to me, and I'm like, okay, then no kibble. And what do? No kibble. Okay, then more carrots because I have to put some weight on her. So more carrots. So I started feeding her 4 times a day. And we're still only feeding not quite 2 pounds of carrots, but I'm about to change that. We're about to go to 2 pounds of carrots and see if she can do it. So I started just this week. I decided we're going to do it 4 times a day. And her tongue is now back in her mouth. And I haven't looked. I haven't checked to see. And this is from a Sunday actually to a Friday. And I would say even Sunday to Thursday, because yesterday it was like, yeah, she's back to eating normally. Instead of trying to lick, she would try to lick her bowl, and she could only use one. Her tongue would only come out the side of her mouth, and she was making an awful mess everywhere. My poor dog. And so, yeah, in the matter of a few days, by increasing the carrots from 1 pound a day to 1 pound and 10 ounces a day, I also added, as of Tuesday, I added Meeker's red raspberry seed powder and curcumin, giving both of those twice a day. maybe more with the Meeker red raspberry. And those are things that you should look up if you're curious about this. And so, again, I haven't looked in her mouth, but I can tell just from the fact that she can use her tongue normally, that has to have gone away. Unfortunately, you know, that all of that mass here, both interior and exterior, I can feel it all here and in here. I don't know. Again, we're winning battles. We haven't won the war. So next week, or maybe starting tomorrow being Saturday, I'm going to put her on 2 pounds of carrots. We're at 15 minutes. We're good. And see, when I think of ratios, I think for people, what they've been doing, human beings, when they have been trying the cancer cure themselves, they've been eating, I think, 6 pounds of carrots a day. So it's heavy-duty carrot saturation. And when I did a little ratio thing, kind of assuming, you know, a 150-pound person, which might be on the, I don't know if that's on the high side or not, but that's what I assumed. And then I should be feeding my dog, who's about 60 to 65 pounds, probably 60 pounds now that she's leaner, about 2.5 pounds of carrots a day. So next week I'm going to go for the 2 pounds and see if we can chase away the ickies here, all of the cancer that's all down in here. And one thing I will say is that I think that the medical community is not used to seeing tumors die. And when I was looking this up online and looking for guidance and what other people had experienced, sometimes a tumor that's dying or is on the verge of dying will blow up. It will, you know, I think of it as like the cancer that fights back. And so it enlarges, and then it collapses. It kind of enlarges and then rots and collapses. I would love it if that's what's happening on the inside of my dog's mouth, but I don't think that's what's happening at the moment. I do feel that's sort of what happened with that tumor that was back on her tongue. So it's an adventure, a medical adventure, and I feel like this information, this possibility, again, just like they're finding that certain drugs work with certain people who have genetic tendencies, you know, their genetic code says that this drug will work with them, etc. Carrots may not work for everybody, but you know what? Why not try it? Why not try it? When I talked to the woman who runs the Facebook page, has the Facebook page, whatever, if she knew of anybody that had tried it with dogs, she said she hadn't. And I think that's an awful shame. And so that's part of the reason I'm on here too. I'm trying it with my dog, and it seems to be working. And I wish that I had thought of this. It had occurred to me. I think I wasn't in the proper frame of mind. I was just so horrified isn't the right word, but heartbroken, you know, that this was facing us, and I think I just went into morbid mode instead of, and I was battling my own health problems at that point too, so I'll give myself a break in that I didn't have the resources to be very creative at that time in terms of thinking, or resourceful in terms of thinking about Jesse's health, because I was needing those resources for my own issues. But I wish that my vet, and I know that there are legal issues for physicians and veterinarians and the bodies that regulate them, the associations that regulate them. But why can't they say something like, this has not been scientifically proved, but there are people who have found that eating massive amounts of carrots kills cancer. Why not say that? Why not share that with other people so that they can try it and see, for goodness sake, they have cancer? Why not? If I had known that last year at this time, would I have gone through with the surgery? Probably so. Because it wasn't as massive at that point. It wasn't like cutting off, the bones part of the jaw. It was relatively minor, But after that had healed, would I have put her on carrots? You betcha. I would have put her on carrots for however long. Maybe I would have made it a permanent part of her diet, and maybe the cancer might not have come back. So I'm here to encourage people to eat massive amounts of carrots. If you are facing the cancer demon, people will have their reasons for not doing it, which is great. Don't do it. That's, health is so tricky. I really feel everybody's body is so individual. You have to make your own choices, but I'm here to help tell the world that carrots can kill cancer. They can. Eat them. And if you can get your dog to eat them, if your dog is facing an issue with cancer, then go for it. Go for it. Well, will it cure? Now, among the human beings who have used this, it has been some pretty extreme cases that they've managed to beat. And I can't remember what the situation was with somebody online who had an animal, a dog. I'm pretty sure it was a dog. And describing kind of this weird, how it blew up and then a black thing, came out of it. It just sounded, and she said that when she took it to the vet said she'd never seen anything like it before. And it's like, all right, well then we need to be educating our veterinarians. Maybe we need to be educating our doctors. Maybe we need to be warning the carrot producers in this country. But again, my thinking is, why not try it? Why not try it? It's clearly, I can say that it's clearly improved the health of my dog, whether or not it improves or eliminates her cancer. She's much happier. She got her spunk back, which does make me wonder whether it had metastasized at some point, or if she wasn't suffering from something else that, in fact, massive amounts of carrots also cured. And we've been doing this for a month and a week. Among the people who have done this, it's often 2 to 3 months or something that they find that they no longer have tumors, that they're cured. But again, they may have dove in, eating massive amounts at first, and I just was skeptical. I didn't know whether or not my dog would go for eating carrots. But whatever I put in her bowl so far, she pretty much will wolf down. It's like, thank you. Thank you for indiscriminate feeding habits of many dogs. They will eat whatever that you put in their bowl. I do mix it with wet food, so I do put some enticement in there. I think of it as a carrot-rich form of carrot stew or beef stew with carrots. And yeah, I will do another update on this adventure with Jessie and carrots. I guess I won't do it. I won't do it weekly unless I feel that there is some significant news. Like if at this time next week, after feeding her 2 pounds of carrots a day, I notice that this stuff is receding that's in the front of her jaw, then yeah, I'll get back on and do a rah-rah and let everybody know. Otherwise, it might be 2 weeks, just waiting to see how much the carrots can actually do. I don't know if they can get rid of everything at this stage where she's at or not. But it is looking good in some respects. Again, we did have that recede at one point and then it flared back. And so I don't know what's going to happen with this area. If it's so entrenched that it won't die, I don't know enough about it, and clearly nobody else knows enough about it. Nobody else knows about, the medical community doesn't seem to know about dying cancer cells any more than we do. So I'll continue to keep her on carrots as long as she's alive, and it seems to be doing some good, whether it's confining the cancer to this area or reducing the cancer. We are now carrot fans in this household, and carrots are going to be a big part of my grocery shopping from now until Jessie is cured, and I will probably keep her on carrots to some extent for the rest of her life, but maybe not quite so intensely. And I may try it myself. I've got Lyme disease. What could it hurt? Maybe I'll be next. I'll put myself on massive carrots. I'm not going to do that until to say it's a chore isn't quite right. It does impact your lifestyle to do this, because I'm feeding my dog 4 times a day for one thing. I'm having to grind up the carrots in my blender for another, which is its own time consuming. I do much more meal preparation for my dog, my one dog now, than I do for myself. And then it's like alchemy too, when I'm putting the powder and the curcumin, and I'm putting in the Meeker red raspberry seed powder, and fish oil, cod liver oil, flaxseed oil, vitamin C. She's going to be, if she passes from cancer, she's going to be one really healthy dog that dies from cancer. And that, but she's an old dog, a healthy old dog. Nothing, she's still sleeping a lot and doing all that kind of stuff. So, and that actually makes me perhaps oddly really happy that she's not going down feeling like crap. She's going down really feeling quite good, feeling relatively energetic much of the time. So yeah, her old Jessie self. If we have to give in to the cancer, let's be our old Jessie self as long as possible. Alrighty, thank you, and I hope this helps many, many, many people. So please spread the word. Not for my own financial, yes, you will have there will be, you know, a little ad at the front of this video, but that's not why I'm telling you to tell people about this video. You don't even have to send them to this video. Just tell other people, because many people know other people who have cancer. Just tell other people. Look online, look on the internet. You don't have to, you know, this particular, unless it's a dog, this particular video is not that important. But if you know other people who have cancer, at least tell them about this, spread the word, so that they know that it's something that they can try. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not even an alternative health person. I'm just somebody having an experience, being very observant as to how adding carrots is affecting my dog's cancer. And I see a difference. In fact, in the new tumor that had formed, I saw a huge difference. The carrots killed it. All right, everybody. Thanks for sticking with me. And again, I hope this helps you spread the word. Bye-bye.